So tell me, what are your plans? What do you do on St. Patrick's Day? What's your annual kind of thing that you do? Do you just ignore it? It's a bunch of baloney and you have no interest in it? Or is it a chance to get together with friends? Or do you like Irish food? Is it you always eat corned beef and cabbage on that day? Or do you have some pretty extreme parties in the memories of your past and you and some of your friends got totally bombed? Well, Americans do all of the above. And I would like to talk to you a little bit today about the real Patrick and a really great way to remember and commemorate that day. I'm Pastor Mark Jeske from Time of Grace, and I really have come to love Patrick as a personal hero of mine. Some of the Patrick talk here in America is pure baloney. Patrick was a truly historical figure, not mythological at all. He's not like Santa Claus. There was a real Patrick, but he did not drive the snakes out of Ireland. And also it's one thing to get together and have some fun with friends, but the incentive or almost the admiration for drunkenness really is just not a good thing. And unfortunately, it perpetuates the worst of the stereotypes of Irish people, that they are a nation of drunkards, or sort of like, the Fighting Irish. Even as a logo, I've never really fallen in love with Notre Dame's mascot because representing the Irish as like fighters and brawlers is one thing to be combative, but the Irish people have given so much more to our culture and civilization than just drinking and fighting. But I tell you what, the real story of Patrick is worth your investigation. Let me tell you just a few nuggets, hoping that this will encourage you to dig and find out who this man really was. He lived in the 400s AD and was not Irish at all. He was born in Roman Britain as the Roman power was fading away and the Roman Empire was on the edge of collapse. Patrick was born in either the north of England or south of Scotland, in that border area, and was kidnapped and taken forcibly to work as a slave, tending sheep by Irish kind of raiding pirates. And he managed to escape after some years, but some things had happened in his life. For one, he really grew up and became passionate about the Christianity that he had been taught in his youth, and he fell in love with the Irish people. Patrick decided to make his life's work bringing Christianity to these wild Celtic Irish peoples who had a sort of an Earth Mother religion. They worshiped the spirits and the gods and goddesses that they imagined inhabited the rivers and mountains and streams, and were kind of nature worshipers, and very fierce about it too. Patrick and his fellow Christian brothers who became like missionary monks with him were really often afraid for their own lives and took great personal risks to do this, because the Druid priests were advisors to the Irish kings and very, very powerful. But Patrick and his monks persevered, and Christianity planted, maybe wasn't the first Christian in Ireland, but he certainly was the major proponent of it that caused a conversion of Irish people to Christianity, so that they in turn became senders of Christian missionary monks to Scotland, and then from Scotland and Britain they came to the continent. And my tribe's people were Germanic, and the Germans received their Christianity not from Italians coming north across the Alps, but I personally have a great emotional debt of gratitude to the Irish missionary monks who brought the faith across the English Channel and came and evangelized my ancestors. So as you're thinking about Patrick, the stuff about the leprechauns, that's fantasy stories, the pots of gold at the end of the rainbow, silly little stories that mean nothing. But the shamrock is one thing that you might kind of hang on to in this Patrick time in March. You might want to hang on to that as kind of a little remembrance of the true meaning of Patrick, that he proclaimed the true God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which could be symbolized or like a logo as the shamrock, not a 4-leaf clover, but a 3-leaf clover, to remember how to tell the story of the Trinity to people. So I tell you what, have a beer today, if that, or on St. Patrick's Day, if that brings you some joy. Do it in moderation and honor this man who cared enough about Jesus Christ to give himself away to a people that had once enslaved him.